Star Wars The Force Unleashed received a re-release on the Nintendo Switch on April 21st, 2022. This is a port of the Wii version of the game featuring motion controls and the dual mode that were exclusive to the Wii version of the game. Is this game as good as we remember? Let's find out. I played the original version of this game on my Xbox 360 when it first came out, and I remember loving the game. After replaying the new Switch version, I remember why I loved it. Star Wars The Force Unleashed is first and foremost a Force Powers playground. This is the first Star Wars game I remember that truly focused on Force powers rather than other aspects of the Star Wars universe. Using your Force powers, you feel like a truly powerful Sith apprentice as you use the Force to fling enemies over ledges, zap them with lightning, or otherwise dominate with the Force. As you play, you unlock more abilities which you can upgrade while on your ship. Most of these abilities are activated using a combo system, pressing buttons in specific sequences, or if you are using the motion controls, a combination of button presses and gestures with the Joy-Cons. Of course, you have a lightsaber too, which is also a lot of fun to use. One particular ability I like to use was the saber throw. You can also hold an enemy in the air and then impale them with the saber as well. Many of the combos you use will have a mix of lightsaber attacks and force abilities. Speaking of lightsabers, you will have several boss fights and duels with Jedi throughout the game, which will sometimes involve action sequences, which will have you pressing buttons or gesturing with motion controls at specific times to defeat your enemy. Getting these right can be frustrating sometimes, but the takedowns are worth it when you get it right. The progression system, as I mentioned briefly before, is built mainly around upgrading your force abilities throughout the game, but force power and health upgrades are also hidden throughout each level. These need to be collected to increase your health and force power bars. There are also many extras and cosmetic items to be found as well. Checking secluded corners or destroying some objects will reveal new lightsaber crystals to change your lightsaber color, lightsaber hilts, and combat crystals which amplify certain abilities. There are also holocrons to collect that unlock concept art that can be viewed on your ship, and new outfits for Starkiller that unlock as you progress. While learning and using the different combos of force powers can be a lot of fun and make you feel like a truly powerful force user, the environments we're given in the game are lackluster. Though the different locations are unique from each other and interesting at first, the areas in these locations are sometimes repetitive and look alike. In one particular level, I fought the same enemies in what looked like the same room 3 times over. The game definitely feels grindy at times, often making you defeat the same types of enemies several times to advance. The motion controls, on the other hand, are better than I expected. I think it is actually easier to get some of the combos off with motion controls over standard button presses, though I still have a hard time adjusting to motion controls myself. I did most of my playthrough with standard button controls, but when I did use the motion controls, they seemed responsive and easy enough to use. The dual mode is a cool addition to the game if you like fighting games, as this is set up similar to those. There's a large cast of characters to play as, and power-ups that can be collected during a match. Finally, once you play through the game, which will only take about 6 to 7 hours, you can play through again, but keep all your force power upgrades and other unlocks. This ties back into the main draw of the game as a force powers playground. As with these upgrades, you will feel even more powerful as you completely dominate your enemies. While the force powers playground aspect of the game is amazing, and the customization options are interesting as well, a short campaign and repetitive gameplay net this one a gameplay score of 7 out of 10. Hey, if you're finding this video helpful, please hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Considering the fact that this is a port of a Wii game, the graphics don't look terrible, they are passable, and the lighting effects for force powers and lightsabers really help give that Star Wars feel to the game. Where the graphics do show their age is on the character models, particularly their faces. The graphics being what they are, score 7 out of 10. When it comes to sound, we have all your Star Wars themes and sound effects present. Nothing spectacular here, just what you would expect. Sound scores a 7 out of 10 as well. So, is Star Wars The Force Unleashed as good as we remember? I'd say yes, but looking at it now against other games that we have available, I'd say that it is just an okay game for the $20 price point. The main selling point for this one, I'd say, is the nostalgia. If you played the first release and just want to play it again on your Switch, I'd say pick it up. But otherwise, I'd say this one is passable. Star Wars The Force Unleashed for the Nintendo Switch scores an 89 game score of 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.